Well, you mentioned DeAaron. Like at some point though, I think it's 6 games now that he scored less than 20 or 20 points or less. With the high, I think being 20. Um, at some point, you want him to get going again offensively. Right, they're 3-3 in those games. I don't think anyone's upset about the way that they've been playing, but at some point, you do want to get him going again somehow, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I thought the first three games. I think we can kind of break the three games up into, the three losses. I thought he looked beat up and physically he wasn't right. I think the last three games, I've kind of felt like
He didn't look
he,
good for some of the Indiana game too, but he something hit him
yeah,
where he got fired up. But he was the stuff you're talking about in those first 3 games. He was moving that same way and against Indiana, and then he wasn't. It's like whatever he had, he seemed to have gotten over it quick, and he got cooking.
yeah. I think that like physically he's feeling better now. He looks like he's feeling better. But I think so many guys have stepped up that he's trying to just integrate himself back in and not trying to just make it all about him. And there will come a game or two on this trip where he needs to be just wow. And the Kings need to know that he's got that in him right now. Like they know he's got it in him because they've watched it all the first 15 games of the season. But the last 6, 7 games, like there's been something a little off. So he needs to dig deep. He needs to find it because if you want to be an all-star, it's not winning one player of the week and being nominated 5 times early in the season and then going kind of quiet for 2 weeks. That's not the way it goes. You have to continue to pace at this similar clip. You got to put up numbers, and that's the name of the game. It's the old chicks dig the long ball thing. If you're not scoring, you're not going to get the notoriety that you were before.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying force it, but he needs to be a guy who makes life easier for the players around him by scoring when he's called upon.
And this is a thing that we talked about a number of different times with De'Aaron, and he's had a great start to the season, not changing that or taking that away. But these are the things that we talk about where if you're an all-star caliber player, if you're an all not caliber player, but if you're an all-star, a literal all-star player, hey, your bare minimum is 22.
Mm,
You go to a game, you're getting 22 tonight. We know that. I may be hot and I can go for 35 or whatever the case may be. But even if I'm not hot and my shot is off, now this is no fault of his, but I'm not, I'm getting to the line 12 times, and I'm going 10 or 12 from the free throw line. And that's how I'm getting my 22. But all these guys that we talk about, the Dames, the Stephs, Ja now, all these point guards, Luca, they getting 22. And that's kind of what we talked about with De'Aaron for a little bit. It can't be 14. You know what I mean? Especially now going up against these top teams on the road. They're going to need him to bring that aggressiveness back in there.
Yeah, I would say the one difference with Fox is that number one, like the players around him right now are playing better than a lot of the players that are around the teams that you talked about. So like if I look at Jaw, like Desmond Bain has been out, so he doesn't have that huge number two score alongside him. The Kings just have like 5 or 6 guys that can pop off for 30, and they are getting major contributions from everybody. What did they have the game where like 9 players, the 9 core players, 8 of them were in double figures, or
Mhm.
7 were in double figures, one had 9, right?
Davion,
So
no.
yeah, but like the point is though that like he doesn't have to be that guy every single night for his team to have a chance. If Steph isn't Steph right now, that team's losing by 20. If Jaw isn't Jaw, that team is losing by at least 10. Like that's kind of what we're looking at. Like there's a lot of balance to what the Kings are doing. And while, I'd say Sabonis is about as good a wingman as you're going to have if you're a star in Fox. And he might even be a better player than Fox at this point. I don't know. It's kind of a toss up just because they do different things. But a lot of these other teams don't have that second guy that are stepping up right now. I mean, look at what Luca's got around him. It's not great. And there are plenty of nights where he's putting up 40 or 50 and still losing because they don't have the the players around him to be successful all the time. So yeah, I'm not so worried about Fox and his numbers being down a little bit for a stretch here, because I know another stretch where he averages 28 to 30 a game for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's just around the corner. And, maybe it'll be on this 6-game road trip, but, maybe he starts building some momentum in a place like New York where, everyone loves to play in New York. And maybe he carries that into the game against Cleveland like he did last time. And you start to see this thing snowball a little bit.
Can anyone get Fox going besides DeAaron?
Yeah, they're not running a bunch of plays for him either. I think their concern is to try to get Keegan Murray functional, to get Harrison Barnes going. Kevin Herter, lost his fastball all of a sudden. Can you get him going? And so I think the last thing that Mike Brown is worried about is whether DeAaron Fox can go get 30. I just don't think he's worried about it, and I don't think he's calling his number a bunch. And Fox is still engaged. He's still playing really, really good defense. It's just what matters more, De'Aaron Fox making an All-Star team, or De'Aaron Fox putting up 25 a game, or the team making it to the playoffs. And I think Fox and Brown and everyone else are going to say, like, look, the team goal, it goes well beyond what one player's goal is. And while they want to support Fox, they know that if they're winning, Fox and Sabonis both will have opportunities to potentially make an All-Star team. You just have to keep winning, and all those things will take care of themselves.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't want to take away from the way he's played all year. He's playing fine. He's doing great. He's a little banged up, a little sick. That, caused a little bit of a stunt into his season, but he's having a damn good season so far. So don't want to take away from that. But
there's only one ball, Kenny.
There is. Yeah.
Like look at this team. There's only one ball. Like how does everyone, feed off of how does everyone eat? And it's not easy. And so sometimes that means Fox needs to take a step back and make sure everyone else is going, and then push forward together.